Hey there, webinarians. This is Casey Cole Corbin with Dynamic Fluid Art Coaching. Glad that you're here for the last of the 5 webinars that we're doing all in 1 week, okay? And so I'm on a little bit early to allow people to kind of trickle in. So when you do come in, please tell me that you can hear me. That would be great. And maybe make a comment or two about if you've seen any of the other webinars, what you thought about them, have they been helpful, what could make this this better, right? I'm definitely open to constructive criticism. I like that. But as you get on here, please just sign in and tell us who you are and where you're at. Now, I did notice I did a bit of research in using this this cool Streamyard, right? That I can do things like make magic banners appear here, yeah. But in order for it to work really well, so that I can see from my display who's speaking, then you have to give them permission to show me your name, okay? And so if you look, it's really easy to find. It's actually just in the top box of this Facebook group, and it's got a kind of a description about what we're doing today, but then the last sentence gives you an active link that you can just click on over and tell StreamYard, it's okay, you can show my name, you can show my profile, and we'll do it from there. So at this point, I've been live, and I don't know it yet because I haven't had anybody say hello yet. Okay, so wait, there's Sherry. Sherry O'Day Man, there you are, all right. So you're in there. So Sherry, for me to see you from the window that I'm looking at, if you could grant permission from StreamYard by just going up to the top post, clicking that link, saying yes, and good to go, okay? That should open you up in another window. So we're just killing time, waiting for people to show up. All right. Let's see. I see, again, I've got a Facebook user that says, hey, Casey, a Facebook user that says, I hear you, a Facebook user that says, I'm here, but riding in the car. So we'll see how it goes in the middle of a storm. Oh, no. Okay, where are you at? And Vanessa Hurst, our rising superstar, has granted permission to StreamYard, so I can see both her picture and her name. And so if you guys would like to do that too, that would help me out a lot. During the course of this entire webinar, I want you to, this is the end cap, so we're done as of today when we sign off here. And so if you have any questions, please feel free to enter them into the comments. If for whatever reason I don't see them and I'm not able to answer them live, then I will go back through the comment thread and I'll answer them in the comments. So it'll either be answered in this video or it will be answered by me typing in there. So, all right, and there's Nan. Nan is our winner. She won yesterday, free art supplies. And thank you, Ann. I got your address and all that good stuff. She says, I'm back. All right, great. Looking forward to another fun-filled informative webinar. Good, yeah. So this is another one that we've got packed. It's going to take a slight turn into a little bit of a different direction in that we're going to take the information that was in the other 4 webinars and kind of pull it all together and make it all fit, see how it all comes together. So that should be good. If you have not viewed the other webinars, it's not necessary to watch them in a certain order. In fact, because there is a special offer that I'll be talking about today that will expire at midnight tonight, I think you should watch this one first, okay? We talked about it yesterday too. So either one of those would be great to watch first because I want you to be able to take advantage of that. I don't want you kicking yourself going, oh, I missed an opportunity. And there's Beth. All right, Beth. Great. Beth and I have been working on a few projects today that's going to be part of your success path. And you can tell that Beth has a great admin gifting. She's got an ability to be able to conceptualize things and put it all together. And so, Beth, I really appreciate your efforts. And I've been developing what you sent me over email. And so I'll be posting that soon on the paid community group. All right. So good. So I got a few minutes after 3, and I'm hoping that maybe we'll get a different variety of folks that join us today that maybe are working Monday through Friday 9 to 5 and have not been able to attend. So if that's you, please put in there, hey, I have not been able to attend live. This is my first live, something like that, at any time during the course of what we're going to be talking about today. That's going to happen. So sorry about the echo. Hold on, killing the sound. All right, good. Hey, Gina, I can see that Gina's on there. All right, great. All right, thank you, Gina. I appreciate that. I don't think I've told you this, but my cousin, my favorite cousin, don't tell the other cousins, but my favorite cousin, her name is Gina. So I just immediately took to you. I was just like, Gina's are great. So thank you. Gina says these are amazing, wonderful, great. Stacy Cox, hello. I see that we got a bunch of winners, on here. All right, so that's good. I think that's one reason for making only people that can win, that can attend live, because they you're kind of the loyal folks and you attend and you deserve it. Yep, you're absolutely good. All right, and there's Kathy. All right, I'm here. Oh, she's the one riding in the car. Okay, that's right. So because I hope to see you then. Okay, so Kathy is a snowbird, and she goes down to Florida from Michigan, and she comes through Valdosta. That's where I live. And so we're hoping, they're kind of in a little bit of a rush this time, but we're hoping to be able to connect. And Kathy and I have never met in person. So I told her, I said, even if you just stop at the Wendys at exit 18, I will run up there and have a Frosty with you. Okay. So just I hope to be able to see Kathy and meet her and her wonderful husband. Very good. All right. In a storm. I'm sorry. It is probably, I'm seeing some of the effects of that storm. We did have a rain, and it's bright now, but it was getting kind of gloomy. So, yeah. All right. So Ann from Florida. Okay, great. See you there. All right. Okay, guys. Well, if you have not already downloaded the handout that's available for you, Saturday, I have 4 children, and so I've not been able to be real laser focused on getting all this stuff completed before the webinar like I have on other days. But that webinar, or excuse me, that handout. Okay, I got to do share screen, and I didn't do my preparation like I should have. Okay, hold on just a second. And we'll be able to. So go get your handout on there. There's several things that are kind of like exercises, fill in the blank, that kind of stuff. And I have slow internet, so you guys tell me if it starts getting spotty or something. All right, so I think that one reason why I was having these during the week is there wasn't a whole lot of demand on the internet in my area, so during the day. So hopefully it's like it's taking a long time to load the application window that I'm wanting to share with you. But so download the handout. Remember the announcement that I made yesterday, and I will continue to reinforce that. We'll talk about it by the end of this webinar too, is that we do have a very special offer for you that will expire on midnight. Now, the door is open to come into the offer that I have for you to come into a new level of a paid membership program called the Accelerator Program. And that is that's available, and people are signing up for it. We have, if anybody who signs up for that by midnight tonight, it's a lifetime membership into the community group, and so you'll never have to pay for that again. And so those of you that know, I know, Beth, get the kids off the video games. Believe it or not, my wife, even though she's feeling a little sick today, she volunteered to take the kids to the library. So and I told the kids, make sure you shut down everything before you go, and they actually took their devices with them. So I don't think that that's the current issue with our internet. But do tell me if I'm dragging, or if there's any kind of problem with that. But okay. Let me know if I just froze up, because my screen is acting ugly. So we might be winging it here without the notes. I might need you to tell me what's going on in the notes. Good. One thing that's really funny is that I'm really enjoying doing these webinars for a couple reasons. One is that I am an introvert personality style, and I have a reading disability, dyslexia. I'm also on the autism spectrum. And so all of those things have made me extra reason to be fearful about public speaking in the past. And so it's nice to, as professionally, what I do as a life coach and counselor is to challenge people to get beyond their fear and to do things that maybe they never thought they'd be able to do. And so this is kind of like, one of those accomplishments for me, is to be able to do these webinars with you. I certainly don't think I'm the best speaker in the world. There's plenty of people that can do a much better job. But I have, but for me, it's a victory. And so I want you to, why am I sharing that with you? I want you to think about the same thing as you go forward in your art as an artist, as you go forward in teaching as a art teacher, right? If you choose to do that, there's going to be things that are going to want to intimidate you, and fear is always going to try to be that block that is in your road. And so I want you to know that those are put there for a reason. These obstacles in our life, right? Even though they feel frustrated, right? The emotion frustration means that block goal. I'm trying to get somewhere and there's something in my way. But overcoming that goal is how we mature and how we grow, right? And we're a better person because of that. And so we're going to talk about today even some of the ways that we're born differently, some of our personality temperaments and types and our giftings and things that come very easy to some people and very hard to other people, and vice versa. We all have a genius in some area of life. Some things come easy to us, some things we have to work for it. We're going to talk about in our art teaching business that there's some things we're going to have to work for, and there's some things we're just going to have to staff up for. We're going to have to get somebody that's either hire them or get them in our life that has a skill in the area that we do not. So, all right. Let's see. We might be doing something a little bit different today. Okay. Nope, now that screen is freezing up on me too. I'm amazed that the camera and that the Streamyard is working, because I have two windows up in my computer and both of them are frozen. All right, well, we'll try to do our best here, okay? Let's go ahead and get started. All right, so this was supposed to be installment number 2, but because of the hand surgery, and y'all have been so kind and wonderful and forgiving about that, is we moved this one that was supposed to be on Tuesday to Saturday. And so the title of this one is The 3 Tactics of How to Make More Than $1,000 Teaching Flow Art in a Half-Day Workshop. And if I'm new to you, if you don't know me yet, then I'm Casey Cole Corbin. I'm a coach. I am a counselor for 20 years. I am an artist and an art teacher. And I now mentor and coach other people that are wanting to build a career, or at least a very productive side hustle of teaching flow art. Okay. If you're watching this in replay right now, so you're not live, then remember to get the handout. The handout, I think today is 11 pages long. All right, so they are packed with information. There's a link that you can share that's in the handout to allow people in the next week to be able to watch all the replays and to be able to get all the handouts. All of those things are going to disappear next Saturday. So you got 1 week and then they all evaporate. And wonderful, great people like Vanessa have said that it's just so packed that I want to rewatch, and that's a really good idea. I'm a real rewatcher. I watch things over and over again, so to make sure that I get them. All right. I see that Veronica Perkins has joined us. All right, great. And Charlie Pierce, I see you there. And LaCrystal Wilson, I hope you're not driving again. All right. Hope you're able to look at pay attention to the webinar instead of the street. Yeah. And Mary Atkinson. All right. Very good. And Charlene Hardwick. Ann Hutchinson. Great. All right. Great. If I've missed your name, please forgive me. I have name issues. I think I enunciated all those correctly. So those are wonderful too. All right. So my screen is still frozen. And so I'm hoping that it will catch up, or I might have to reboot. So that would be interesting. All right. I tell you what we're going to do. Let's talk a little bit about what I can pull up from memory, and hopefully my computer will catch up. I think I was in the middle of saying that I am really excited about doing these webinars because they are a little bit of a stretch and a growth for me. And possibly because of that is because I've literally attended thousands, I know over 1,000 different webinar opportunities like this. I've followed gurus and people that are really, really good at what they do, in their life, and teach others. And I have paid gurus. I have paid Gretchen Wheeler, who is I mentioned yesterday, who is a Facebook guru. She stays abreast of what is hot on Facebook right now, what works. And yesterday we talked about Thursday we talked about how that Facebook stories and Facebook lives get you get a much bigger reach, and that's an organic reach, which is great. For Pay Matt Tommy, who is I have for our artist mentoring program. And I should have joined his program a long time ago, but the month that I decided I'm going to do it, go ahead and do it, is the month that they went from $37 a month to $47 a month. So if I would have made my decision a few weeks earlier, I would be locked in at a price, which is the way that we operate too. So the community group is currently $10 a month, and the price will be going up ASAP. They will be going up very soon, and it's going to build up into a $39 program. And so, but whenever you get in, if you get in at next bump will be $19. And so if you get at that, then you stay there for the rest of your life. All right. So today we're going to talk, again in the series of the 5 essentials of being a highly successful artist and art teacher. And we're going to hit some of those things that we talked about a week ago when I did an overview of all this, but then we've also got some additional information to share with you. All right. The first thing is have you joined the free groups that I have? So I have the What's Selling group and also the group called Teachers of Flow. Let me try something real quick so we can get over there. All right, I hope I don't lose you here. It is froze. Give me 1 second, please. I'm pulling up my Taskmaster and seeing what I can shut down and hopefully not lose you in the process. I would hate to have to end the broadcast and start it up again, but that might be an option. So if I bleep out of existence here, that's what I'm doing. So just make sure that you go back to the page. There'll be a new one. I will get it started as quickly as I possibly can. Okay, so if that happens. Here's where I wish I was a computer guru. The only thing I think I can do is shut down all of Chrome, and I really don't want to do that. All right. Again, I apologize about that. But in the literal thousands of webinars that I've seen, it is not unusual to have difficulties like this. All right. And it's funny because other days, because it was storming outside, I was like, you know what? I might have to switch to my phone and do this. And so I printed the handout. But today, I thought, well, it's beautiful outside, and everything's worked for the last 4 days. So it is not. It's funny, if this screen would just go up a level, I could know what I'm going to be talking about next. All right. All right, guys, I might lose you. If so, please forgive me. All right, I'll see you in just a few minutes. It looks like it's going to want to reboot the whole thing. So I do apologize. I will pop back on here. It'll probably take me about 3 or 4 minutes. All right. Well, did it allow me to get on the same stream? Can you see me now? Please tell me if you are. I had to shut down and then get back on again. And so from mine, it says that I'm still in the same one. Can you guys see me? So I'm gonna have to wait on someone to tell me. I see the last comment I see is Beth. And Beth and I get along really great because we're both really sarcastic. She says, he knows not what he does. And that's true. Yay. Okay. So Nan says, I'm back. That's amazing. Well, that's another great reason to use Streamyard. Okay. Because in times past, that would be, you shut down a Facebook Live and then you're starting up a brand new one. So if this one allowed me to totally reboot and then get on here, that's amazing. All right. Okay. Well, let's dive in for sure and talk about the 3 tactics to make that's more than $1,000. And let's jump right in. Okay, I think I've covered an awful lot of the intro stuff. All right. Let's talk about overwhelm because we have talked about a lot of stuff this week. It has been so much that it would be very easy to get overwhelmed in all this information. And really, honestly, all of life is about that. It's really how we treat an overwhelm of information. We live in the information age now. And so what are we going to do from that? I liken it to trying to take a sip from a fire hose, right? It's just moving really fast. Our life is just packed. And we've got so much in this for you. So the Accelerator Program is going to help you do 2 things. One is it's going to bring clarity and convenience and speed, all of that inside of a community so that I digest and do everything that we need to do to run our businesses. This is something that I've called for many years our SAS team, SAS, structure, accountability, and support. And so what I'd love for you to comment now, and that'll also tell me that everything's still working, is how can you imagine your team helping you? A team of people that can offer you structure, accountability, and support when it comes to growing your fluid art teaching business, okay? And I'd also like for you to comment how individualized attention that I would be providing for you in a strategy session and in a monthly coaching session, and that focused time also in a monthly mastermind group, how that could help you. And so I would love to read those comments even afterwards, okay? So if you can put that into the comment stream, that would be great. Here's what we've been webinaring all week. All right, so we've been talking about the how to stand out and seriously establish yourself as a selling artist, smart strategies to develop a pricing structure that reaches new students and maximizes profits. Yesterday we talked about, no, that wasn't yesterday, but Thursday we talked about supercharging your social media efforts to book out your classes. And then yesterday was the long-awaited what no one tells you about how to get sponsored so that you can get free paint and other supplies. Okay. Yeah. So Nan says mostly accountability, and I totally agree. That has been any point of growth in my life. I have noticed that it's because I involved other people in my life, and that took me, intimacy, by the way, means into me see, like you're putting on the chest spreaders here and you're opening up and letting people see inside of you. Sorry for the gory, representation of that one, but intimacy means into me see. And so if I'm going to allow people to see inside of me and allow people to speak into my life, that is the greatest opportunity that I have to bypass my own pride and my own issues to be able to really allow that process to refine me and help me. Okay. So I did want to tell you about Laura Scott, and she's in our paid membership group. And she said, especially in relationship to the sponsoring thing that we talked about yesterday, she said, first, I want to share that I was told about the second program, my Golden Art, and I just received my first payment, yay, yesterday. And it was like Christmas opening the box. That's the way I feel every month. It's like Christmas once a month here. But for what more importantly I've learned that I need to believe in myself as an artist. I am an expert. That's right. I need to set aside time every day, or as my schedule permits, to complete the things on my to-do list and to focus on becoming a better artist and business owner. I have learned to look for teaching classes and places that already have a following so I can utilize that as a marketing technique. Right. And we're going to be talking about that today too. really, I've learned a lot, and it's nice to have someone personally backing you up as an artist and a business person. See that she's even spoke right into community, which we want to really focus on today. Okay, so today is the 3 tactics of how to make more than $1,000 teaching flow art in a half-day workshop. All right, so for some of you have not even considered teaching yet. All right, and I want you to do that. I want you to think, don't exclude yourself right away. All right. I have every reason in the world with those things that I shared earlier to exclude myself from being able to speak. All right. Years ago, I applied for and I was hired in my first counselor position at an addiction recovery program inside of a prison. And they misled me. All right. They said they were hiring for a counselor. They lied. They should have said teacher, because 20 hours a week we were teaching. I was in front of groups of 60 to 30 inmates. Teaching and public speaking would not have been a position that I would have even applied for. I had a tremendous amount of fear of public speaking. I even remember a few months before then, they asked me to say a prayer at church on Sunday morning, and I froze, goofed it all up. They never asked me to pray again publicly in that church, okay? I've shared some of this stuff already while I was just kind of doing my tap dance with our technical difficulties here. But my issues is kind of, don't show very well. They don't present very well in front of other people. And so I usually like working behind the scenes, but we can't just stay behind that like we're hiding behind a rock. We have to take what we have, what's in our hand, what can we use, and then we are expected to use that and grow. Right. And so that is something that for me has been a tremendous challenge. And yet I'm always very excited. And it makes me very happy whenever I overcome those challenges and I'm able to do more than I did. Maybe you're in the same boat as I am. Maybe there's some things that you are kind of self-limiting about. And I just want to see you get on the other side of that. And you're just going to feel so great that you have overcome some of those obstacles. All right. So we just got to do. For those of you that have not considered teaching flow art, listen. Don't just listen to me right now, but listen to all the voices around you. Notice what they're saying. What do people say when you show them your art? And I know that you've already heard this. They say, how did you do that? Right? But listen even harder, because that's not even really what they're saying. What they're really saying is, how do I do this art? And will you help me? That's an invitation that's basically saying, teach me. Right? We talked about how sales of flow art are low and slow. It's my opinion that's not where we need to be focusing. All right. I sell a lot more now that I teach, but I make a whole lot more money teaching than I ever did selling. So with people around us wanting to know, they want to know how to do this even if they haven't considered it yet. All right. You take that passion that you have for pouring. Think about that. You're not alone in that. All right, other people can gain that interest as well. As a matter of fact, they usually do, and they get hooked just like us. Laura had mentioned this too. The best definition of an expert is someone that knows more than another person. All right, so do you know more than the other person? All right, who's asking you, how did you do this? No matter where you are in this, you know more than them. And if you know how to mix, swipe, and dirty pour, then you have all it takes to do a fantastic class that will just have them talking about you and talking about their class and wanting to come back. Don't believe me yet? Just copy and paste this from put it into your time in your newsfeed on Facebook or other social media. Hey friends, so many of you have expressed an interest in learning and doing my style of pouring art. So the first 5 of you to private message me can come over, set the date and time, and I'll teach you for free. I might ask you to bring some supplies. Post that, see what happens. Okay? All right, you're going to have a ton of interest for people that are wanting you to teach them. And that's good, right? Because if you're just beginning, it's okay to do this at a loss because you're at the learn before you earn stage. All right, we're all like that. That's the way that things work in business. Do a couple of those where you're not necessarily making money, and pretty soon you will be making money, a little side hustle like I was doing before I got fired and needed to ramp it up into a full-time income. But if you want, you can do that too. All right. That's where conscious decision to not reinvent the wheel comes into place. All right. When I was pressed, because I can get real stubborn and I want to do things my way. When I was so pressed that I have to ramp this thing up quickly to continue to be able to feed my family, I had to let some pride get out of the way, humble myself, and ask other people for help. And that's the reasons why I started those two groups. I knew others all over the world had already thought of the things and solved problems. They solved problems that I didn't even know that I needed to solve yet. And so I reached out to them via my groups. A year and a half later, I've learned a ton, and certainly being at the center of the hub there, the experience of over 10,000 artists and teachers have daily fed my desire to learn and how to do this smarter instead of harder. And you can benefit from all that experience. All the practical experience that has enabled me to create for you something that I'm going to call the success path. Our first task is to figure out where we are in the middle of these stages and characteristics and milestones for each one of the stages, and then what action items are needed for each one of those milestones. This success path will also help you find your gaps, what you're missing right now, and that you'll need to fill in that gap whenever you're able to. We're going to do an exercise here in just a second about filling in some of our gaps. This week, we've talked about just that overwhelm of information, I know, and that's not all, right? You know, that's just 5 webinars, okay? But the success path helps you to be able to see where you're going. Some of those items on the path you already have accomplished, and so you can scratch those off your list. That's nice, all right? They can kind of reduce the overwhelm, right? You go, no, I got that, I got that, I got that, right? Others that are in your immediate future, you are going to have to use your skills, gifts, abilities, whatever's in your wheelhouse, right? That just comes very naturally to you. And you can scratch those off your list too, right? Other items, you're going to either have to figure out how to do them on your own, or maybe that you need some help, maybe get some answers from somebody else. And that's where the Accelerator Program really helps. It gives clarity, convenience, and speed. Clarity to counter the overwhelm. What of all this stuff that I've got to do? Oh my gosh, do I need to, start an LLC? Do I need to, have a corporate structure? Do I need to focus on that now? Start eliminating, getting some clarity on the direction that I need to go in. Convenience. You could research and, start a group like I did, and a year and a half later have the insights that I have. You could do that, right? But that would not be very convenient. And then speed. The success path is a track that you can run on. You will know your pitfalls and your brick walls before you face them, so you'll be prepared for them. All right? Great. The next thing I want to talk about is how do you get into good venues? Keep this rule in mind. Go after the list, not the location. Great. I'm going to look at see if we have any questions here. LaCrystal says, since she can type and she's not trying to drive, why doing this? Good. For me, it would be the finalizing and execution and coming up with the forefront in my business. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And if by the forefront you mean a location to have or a storefront type, you might mean something different by that. Then your question or your comment is just perfectly timed, okay? I recommend that you not run out and rent a studio and rent space, okay? That's the traditional brick and mortar way of doing things, and today it's just not necessary. One is that you can shoestring this on a budget. You can do this using other people's location, other people's time, other people's energy, other people's money. You can, that's the secret to success, is using OPM. I didn't say opium, all right? Other people's money, other people's resources, other people's locations in this, for example, here. I teach in about 6 different art centers that are just all around this area, all of them within about a 2.5 hour drive from where I live. I'm kind of centrally located for that. And so I started off by just contacting them, got in, usually used a connector to connect me to the people that make those kind of decisions. And all of a sudden I'm doing these classes and I'm not needing to rent a storefront, all right? It costs you, all right, is one way to think about it. Usually 30 or 40% they keep, but look at what they're doing with their 30% that they're keeping. The biggest thing is that we're going after the list, not the location, going back to the handout here. The art center here in Valdosta has 7,000 people on their email list, okay? I don't have 7,000 local people that are interested in art. That is a laser focused market, right? And they are every month they send out a newsletter in paper form. They send out e-news blast twice a month. They put a bunch of social media out there too. They have also had me featured in the local newspaper and other more traditional marketing sources, and they do all that. They have full-time marketing person, and that's all they do. They have a full-time education director, and that's all she does is schedule my classes and prepare for my classes and set up the room and clean up when I'm done. Right? I walk in, do my thing, walk out, right? I don't even have to be there 2 days later whenever the students collected, right? They are staffed, so they can do that. And so is it worth 30%? Good, yeah. Especially if I was going to try to build all that on my own, because 30% of nothing is nothing. So we want to go after the list, not the location. That can be a lot of different things. We've talked about art centers, art museums. Think about upper end clubs too, like garden clubs. You know, the wealthy in our community. You know, where are they going? What are they doing? What is their interest? All right, you've got to target. Some of you might be a little uncomfortable with that. You're like, well, that's not the people that I run with, right? That's why we're going to need a connector to connect them, connect us to them, connect us to their organization, connect us to the private school, connect them to whatever, right? Where we can use their facilities, most of all their lists and their connections to be able to build ours. Because once they attend your class, right? If I like they don't the art center, they don't just give me the list and let me email it. No, they email it. But after that, when they attend my class, I'm having them sign in and give me their email address, and now they're on my list. Now they're mine. I own that list. I don't own them, but I own that list, right? And that is a very smart way for us to be able to do our business. And so, all right, then it's our job to nurture them and to help them to become returning students, right? The core of my business is returning students. Good. Let's see, Nan, you asked about the best size for your class. I tell you, that's an individual preference. And so some people, there's something that as a counselor that we know that group dynamics, between 8 and 12 people is ideal for there to be this kind of collective consciousness where, you know, we can share in group. This is a classroom environment, and it's not limited by that. I personally would definitely, if someone I posted this on the teachers group a while back, and I said, if somebody said that we want you to teach 1,000 people how to do a flip cup in one day, and you can structure it any way you want to, how would you do it? And a lot of people would just immediately shut them down. No, I will not do classes larger than 8 people, okay? And they were just out, you know, at that point. And the purpose of my question, because I am a life coach, is how do we expand our thinking, right? They didn't say we had to do it all at once. They didn't say that we personally had to do them all. I would definitely be hiring me some art students at the local college and saying, I need you, you know, they will be my assistants, and we might do it in 10 rooms. We might be rotating them, you know, 10 at a time, or we might be doing it. Other people said they have done larger groups where they stood up on a stage and they told everybody what to do, and they had table assistants that were out there and taught a large group. I believe it was 87 people all at one time, right? Great. All right. Is there anything wrong with that? Not at all. Yeah. So there's a lot of different, and then the fees, I see, Nan, you're asking about that too. That would come into consideration, and you'd have to consider what would be my additional charge costs. One is you'd have a volume that would, you know, so if 1,000 people will pay $1 a piece, you just made $1,000. That's nice, right? But you're going to have additional costs, and that you're going to have to pay assistants. You know, that's a lot of paint, and that's a lot of substrates, right? And that's a lot of plastic for tables, and that's a lot of time setting up and breaking down. So you'd have to give that some really good consideration, right? So those are really good questions to ask on the teaching groups, because they, you know, you'll get a lot of good input for that too. Okay. All right. Oops, sorry. What happened there? All right. I'm trying to avoid touching my screen because it's wiggling my camera. All right, we're doing good. We're making up for some lost time here. All right. right. So the next thing I want to talk to you about is not really based on Malcolm Gladwell's book, The Tipping Point. Remember, it's not what you know, it's who you know. And so how do you get into these venues? As I think about it, there was very few venues that I actually just called and say, hey, I teach fluid art. Can I come teach at your place? And they said, yeah, come on. Usually there's a vetting process in that. They are doing what they can to see if you are a good fit for them. And that's their job. I respect that. And so what really helps that is a liaison, someone who's a connector who vouches for you. They say, hey, I attended Casey's class, in Valdosta, and man, it was awesome. We really need him here in Albany. We really need him, at this other location. It was great. He was professional. He was on time. He didn't stink. He articulated well. He, all of these things, right? These connectors can help you get connected. All right. If you don't know anybody that's a connector, don't worry about that. I didn't either. Once you get started, once you get this ball rolling, right, then you're going to meet these connectors. And this week I've shared with you two of the main connectors that really got me going, got me started, in the beginning. We continue to need connectors, but boy, those first ones are just like, they will forever be in my heart. I love those ladies that helped me out so much, right? Yeah, and so I've shared these stories before, so I'm going to kind of grace over this a little bit, how they got me into some really, really great places. I walked in, this was actually the only time this has happened, is that they had already collected all the money, and so I walked in, she handed me a check for $1,048. Walking in the door, I was like, what is this? I haven't even taught yet, right? So let's move on, just for time's sake. Is that staff tier weakness. This is an expression that says that we do not contain it all. In our area of weakness, we have to find someone else that is strong, right? They say opposites attract. My wife and I, in some ways, are complete opposites of each other. Mary is a starter and I'm a finisher. That works well, in our relationship. So this is also the foundation of being in society. This is why in all areas of our life, we're only really truly successful, I mean that in a holistic sense, when we operate in community. And if you have not read the book, The Tipping Point by Malcolm Gladwell, there's the cover for you. And Malcolm Gladwell, it is, I love it. I've read everything that he has written. It's just great stuff. But he goes on to make a distinction between connectors, mavens, and salespeople. Okay, so let's talk about that. Now, as we discuss this, I want you to think about what you do for which one of these is your area of strength and which one of these is your area of weakness. And I've got my confession to you as far as strengths and weaknesses. A connector are the people in the community who know large numbers of people and who are in the habit of making introductions. They're wonderful. A connector is essentially the social equivalent of a computer network hub. They usually know people across many different arrays of society, culture, profession, economic circles, and they make a habit of introducing people who work or live in different circles. I have a counselor that works for me in a program that I have in another town, and he is the most connector that I've ever seen in my life. And you cannot, it's a joke whenever you bring it up. Anything up with him, he will tell you, I know somebody who does that, and he's on his phone. He's already started to connect you to somebody that you need to know. He does this all day and every day. His brain is just wired to be like that computer network hub. You guys are starting to think about people that you know that are like that, aren't you? Yeah. And maybe you're like that, all right? And that's important. That can be a wonderful strength in your business, or knowing somebody that's like this can be an incredible strength in your business, all right? Good. These are the people who just link us up with the world. They are people that have a special gift for bringing the world together. There are a handful of people with an extraordinary knack for making friends and acquaintances. And Malcolm Gladwell attributes these to the social success of connectors, to the fact that they have an ability to span many different worlds as a function that's kind of intrinsic to them. It's part of who they are. They're kind of in not just one clique, but they've, they're you might even think about back in high school. These are the people that connect, that are able to go run with different crowds. And their personality and a combination of curiosity, of self-confidence, sociability, and energy is part of who they are. And boy, that describes my friend Steve. I am not naturally a connector. All right. You may see me connecting, but it is because I have seen the value of it so strongly that I'm now putting forth effort to help connect other people. All right. So, in fact, I was just connecting Vanessa to my friend Rita last night because they're both in the same area, and I know that they would really get along very well. Okay, I don't naturally do that. My brain doesn't do that. One reason is because I don't remember names, but I've seen it pay off so well in my own life that I've seen the value, and so now I'm putting effort into doing that. Mavens. Now that's a weird name. All right, so that's the only one that doesn't have like a literal, meaning to us. But these are people that we might call information specialists, or they are people that we rely upon to connect us with new information. So connectors connect us with people, mavens connect us with information. They accumulate knowledge, especially about the marketplace, and know how to share it with others. I love this. It's almost like they are pathologically helpful. And that's what I am. I'm a maven kind of person. A maven is someone who wants to solve other people's problems, generally by solving their own. And so according to Malcolm Gladwell, the mavens start word of mouth epidemics that, due to their knowledge and social skills and abilities to be able to communicate, mavens are really information brokers and sharing and trading what they know. So I am primarily a maven. I like to help people, and I like doing that through information. So this comes very naturally to me. It's a reason why I'm a counselor or a life coach. All right. Salesman. All right. So this one's a little easier to understand. We've all met people that just have that ability. They're persuaders. They're charismatic people with powerful negotiation skills. They tend to have an indefinable trait that seems to go beyond what they say, which makes most people want to agree with them. Now, I'm not a salesperson. And so even in this webinar, I've got to be in sales mode a little bit, that's not something that comes naturally to me. But I have learned and I've gained skills so that I'm better. But this is really not what naturally comes to me. So you have some choices to make when it comes to you, out of these three. Nobody is all three, but all three are needed for success. And so one, you got to discover which one you are, and then just, own it, right? And number two is you got to know the areas that you are weak in. You got to own that too, and you got to do something called staff to your weakness. And so I have a little exercise for you here, and I would love for you to put into the chat box here. As a connector, just type connector and then put 1 through 10. Are you weak? 1. Are you strong? 10. Are you somewhere in between? All right. And then your next, then hit enter. And then under Maven, put 1 through 10. Are you weak or are you strong in the Maven connection? And then a salesperson, is it a weakness for you or is it a strength? And I'd love to see you participating in the chat there. We can all kind of get to know each other, and maybe even identify that if you find that you're weak in one area and you're starting to build a relationship with somebody in this chat or in the groups here, you can start to lean on them. You can start to call on them and say, hey. And I have noticed that I might be like an 8 in Maven, 5 in connecting, and a 2 in sales, right? Might be my scores. And but I have some friends that are the opposite of me. And so whenever I'm considering any type of decision, especially a business decision, but also personal decisions, I'm giving them a call and I'm saying, hey, what do you think about this? And it's funny because it's almost like we see, like we're back to back, and I can see this half of the world and they can see the other half of the world. And once they start describing it to me, I can get it. And I can go, oh, okay, I got it, right? Almost like I don't even need their help anymore. They have opened up something that I couldn't see on my own, and now I can see it. And now it's almost like I don't even really need any more input from them. It's almost like the synapses could not have connected in my brain. But once they connected them for me, bam, it's on. I got it. And that's how we learn and grow. Okay, great. Look at all the responses. Love it. You guys are the best. All right. Vanessa says you are a strong connector. That's great. Okay. And wonderful. Great. And Maven, pretty high too. Great. All right, great. That's wonderful. And Nan, semester 5, Vanessa. Okay, so Vanessa, you're strong in the other two components, salesperson, not so much. And I can tell you that from my little bit of interacting with you, I can see that I think you're accurate about that. So that tells you that you need to find some people that are really good with that to be able to help you to build your business. And what's super smart about your party plan is that you're doing that. You are already connecting with people that have, so they're doing the sales for you, aren't they? Right? When your party plan deal here and they're going out there and they're connecting with their friends and they're, you have delegated sales to your primary customer. You are brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Great. But Nan is a 9 on sales. All right. And I can tell that in my little bit of interaction with you too. Okay. So that's real high. That's great. All right. And Charlie, it looks like you're primarily a Maven. All right. Great. All right, so isn't this good to know about ourselves and good to know about our strengths, good to know about our weaknesses? It is we have to get beyond and put down our pride and be able to say, I am not all things to all people, and I cannot do everything on my own. I have weaknesses, and some of that I can work on, but I'm never going to be as great as a connector as my friend Steve or a salesperson as my friend Eric. Right? And so I'm going to lean on these people to be able to help me out. Knowing that means that we are successful. I read an autobiography about a highly successful person many, many years ago. And while they normally come across as very braggadocious, they said the most humble thing that I really just loved is they said, I'm not really that smart. I just hire people smarter than me and I do what they tell me to do. And I was blown away by that statement. That was 20 years ago when I read it in this autobiography. And I was like, wow. I mean, out of all people in the world, who would expect him to say this? This highly successful person. So it helped me to get beyond my own limitations there too. Okay, so you guys are doing really great. All right. Well, oh boy, someone's joined us in the name. I'm not even going to try to attend it. Can I call you Yay? Yay has joined us. Great. All right. Yeah, I see that you come in somewhere towards the end. We're going to be wrapping up here in just a few minutes, but this will be available on replay for a week onto this group, and then this group will be shut down. Okay? All right. So just 3 days ago, I opened up the cart, or if you want to call it the gate or door to this opportunity, as I made the big announcement about the Accelerator Program. And so this is really a next level paid membership group for the teachers of Flow. The existing steps are gonna stay there. Okay, so I have the What Selling group, it's free. A lot of people go into the Teachers of Flow group that is free too. Those are not going to be changed. All right. And then some people that are really serious, and they've been paying $10 a month to be in the community group there, right? And that will remain the same too. It is going to go up in price though. And those people that take on that and they put a little bit of, get a little flesh in the game, right? Are growing further, farther, and faster to be able to build their business. And so this monthly membership of the new level, which is a lot more hands-on, okay? And I'll describe that for you in just a second, is that you have some more skin in the game. People appreciate and act on what they've invested in. And two, the income will help me to become more dedicated and give more time and energy and resources and give individual attention. So there's just so much that I want to do in these groups to be able to help you. So what's the Accelerator Program? It's $197 a month with a minimum of a 6-month commitment. Some people may stay on longer if they feel like they need it. It starts off with my $300 strategy session. I've been doing those for a while now, and that is a time where you have some homework, and then we meet, usually on video chat, and we talk about, it's a combination of not only your business plan, but your lifestyle plan. What do you want your lifestyle to be like? Is your lifestyle very hectic right now? Are you going 10 million different directions like Beth is every day? Do you want to simplify and be able to, do more with less? All right. So we'll talk about, what is your lifestyle? What is your desire? Do you want to be planted where you're at? Do you want to travel? Right? What do you want to do? It also includes a monthly individual counseling session. So the first month you do a strategy session with me. The next month, we're going to do an individual coaching session. And that is going to be a really great time. And as I look back on I've had many different mentors, many different coaches in my life, and that has made a significant difference in my growth. They helped hold me accountable, give me structure, accountability, support, like we talked about with the SAS earlier. So this is going to be an organized time. When we meet, it's highly efficient, all right? It's an organized time of personal accountability to give needed structure to your progress while supporting you methodically to get from where you are to where you want to be. All right. And so and every week I charge $175 for those, whether live in person in my office here in Valdosta, or I do a lot of distance work for all kinds of things. The Mastermind group is very excited about this. I lead Mastermind groups for Matt Tommy's group over there. Love it. Gina has been in one of my Mastermind groups with Matt Tommy. They are just, and Gina, if you can speak into that about what a Mastermind group does, and I know you do them as well too. They are just wonderful. Most people that have never experienced a Mastermind group are like, I got a funny name. What is this? It is really just a neat way of being able to get together and work together on issues that help us, right? To help us to get past these roadblocks, all right? And then the private community that we've had running since February, right? The biggest thing that I hear from people is that they no longer feel alone. They have this mutuality, which is a community of like-minded people that offer understanding and advice. And again, we do not have to reinvent the wheel. It is foolish for us to think about it. Let's work smarter and not harder. That program will be $39 a month. Monthly coaching calls, and that's a themed webinar. Not too much unlike what we're doing today, although it's got more of an intensive time of Q&A. And so questions are asked periodically throughout the month, and then they're answered during that time period. And then you'll have immediate access to what we call the Education Vault, the learning units that are in the group. And here's the learning units that we have, and we're continuing to grow them all the time. It begins with a lifestyle, kind of like the strategy session, what do you want to end up with, and kind of point in that direction. 2 is the spin art lessons, which have been a whole lot of fun. Online teaching is going to be a focus for us real soon. Hobby Lobby's classroom marketing to be able to get your classes and people offering. What's neat about it is it's just not, it's not just Casey, right? It's people sharing, like, I think it was Brenda, did you share your flyer, that whenever she ordered them, they came back from the printer and she took a picture of them and shared them with us, right, for her. And it was great, to be able to do that. People share their business cards, people share their tactics, things that have worked. Also, how things didn't work, because I learned from failure. You will, as far as my input goes, you'll learn a lot from my failure. I like to share when things did not go well. Hey guys, so save yourself some time and energy. Don't do this, right? And that's just a smart way for us all to be able to learn together, right? There's a book of wisdom that says that a wise person learns from other people's mistakes, but a foolish person always has to learn from their own mistake. I think I want to be wise in that. Productivity. We created a specific device, a checklist for you to be able to work with to be able to stay very productive, and then free lesson plans and themes, how to get sponsored, like we did yesterday. And Vanessa is helping us out with her party plan model there. There is a bonus that includes getting kind of like a franchise in a box, and it's got all the forms and processes. I mean, you just immediately on day one of getting in, you can just download those, do a find and replace with your business name and print, and you are in business. All right. There's the link to be able to join. I'll be sharing that in this chat line here as well. And you'll have up to a week, and then the doors close. So whenever this group goes offline and all the videos evaporate and the handouts are no more, so does this opportunity. All right. So this is a beta launch for this new group, and it's going to open for up until next Saturday. So you've got to jump on it, or until it becomes full. All right. So when we have enough people in that group, or a number of people in that group, then I'll be shutting it down. Just to make sure this is a no-brainer decision, I want to be even more clear. I'm offering a special bonus for anyone that joins before midnight tonight. Okay, so you've got like 6 7 or 8 hours max. And so if you run over and join it now, you get a lifetime membership to the community group. And that means that once you're done with the 6 months here and in the Accelerator program, then you will not pay the $39 a month ever, and you'll be able to stay in the community group. So you can do the math on that one, whatever that's going to be. All right, so that's the big announcement. And please snatch up your opportunity just as quickly as you can. I believe that before midnight tonight, there'll probably be another 80 or so people that will watch this video. Most of these live webinars do get watched a lot more offline than they do not live. But they don't get the opportunity that you do to win a prize here in just a second, okay? And so that was the 5 showcase webinars. So what did you guys think? Did you enjoy them? Were they good for you? They almost purposely were packed with information, right, to be able to help us to see that I think I'm going to need some help with this. I need some of that sass that Casey was talking about, and that helps us with that overwhelm. Remember to read the emails that I send you. Share this link with other people to be able to, not to the group though, so I can catch their email address, and that they can get into it as well. They'll have up to a week, and then there's the link to the membership program. And so right before we do, I look for any Q&A. I've been watching pretty good. I don't see any. But let's draw for the very last winner. All right, so I'm going to go over to my software here. And let's see, because I rebooted, I'll teach you a little bit about it. Okay, so this is 22 Social, which is an in-app, in-Facebook app. And so it has an SRM, which is my social relationship manager, and it's got all of you guys that signed up here. All right, so it has 192 people that have signed up through this process. And so although only about a dozen of people are on right now, when I hit this choose winner button, it will pick from the whole group. So Jess Lynn, no way. I promise you I did not set that up. I'm so glad I did that live. I said to you yesterday, Jess, that I wanted you to win. And I promise you there's no way for me to do that. That is completely luck, happenstance, whatever. That button randomly picks. People are not gonna believe me. But Jess, that is so perfect. I wanted you to win because you've been so diligent on here. So Jess, send me a private message. I cannot believe that happened. Send me a private message with your the address that you want your free art supplies sent to. I've waited and saw that the other people, Nan and some other folks that are on here too that have also won. So tonight I'm gonna do the order and send them out. They'll be coming from China, so they take about a month to arrive, but I'll be sending them out to actually 7 different people. So I wanted to do batching. So I'm doing all that in one batch. So Jess, that's so cool. I am so glad that you won. That is too funny. All right, so I'm going to turn my attention now to any questions that you might have. If I miss them now, then I will be going through the whole list later, and I will do them. So Crystal, you said, so I understand correctly, you have 2 offers. No, if you go on to the dynamic fluid art page, matter of fact, I can, if I do that here, won't be able to capture Jess's image. But I do individual counseling and coaching for $175 a session. I do that locally. I do that for all kinds of issues, related to or unrelated to coaching, doing this art. And then the $39 will be the final price in the community that is going on right now. It is actually only $10 right now, so you could jump on that as well. But for the Accelerator program, that includes the $300 strategy session for the first month, and then $175 for the second month. So that's a $175 value that you'll get every month. $100 value plus $100 value for the mastermind that will take place every month. See that nobody in the community group are we doing a mastermind group for that. So that's an additional fee, plus the $39 admittance into the community group. So you're getting a lot for $197. It's a commitment of 6 months, and if for some reason, if that makes anybody sheepish, if you get in it and you're like, Casey, this isn't for me, it's not like I'm going to sue you just tell me, say, I don't think this is right for me, so I'm going to bail. It's all right. Just talk to me if you will. And that way I can learn from it too. But the program itself, right, for you to really get the most out of it is a 6-month duration. And we'll have a strategy session, then we'll have 5 monthly individual coaching sessions. You'll have a total of 6 mastermind groups, and then you'll have all the resources that are available in the community group. Okay? Hope that answers your question. All right, so I'm just looking for questions here. Did I miss any questions, anybody? Love you guys' input and participation on the connectors and Mavens and salespeople. Yeah. All right. You guys, this has been a really great week for me. And so one was my own personal stretch and growth, and then, but also is you guys' encouragement and how friendly and supportive everybody has been, even through technical difficulties like we had today. So I just want to tell you that I just really, really appreciate you. And so I'm going to go ahead and sign off now. And you guys remember that you have a week to be able to go through and be able to see the videos and utilize the handouts and download those handouts would be smart to do, because they will no longer be available, and so you can have those. But this is Casey Cole-Corbin with Dynamic Fluid Art Coaching. Remember the specials that we have being offered until midnight tonight, and act quickly, and I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks so much.